in the middle of the
Yeah.
floor. Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fillial will sit, and he'll take out the candle
Got
and light the candle and place it on the obsidian disc.
it.
The disc that says "My name is Ruin."
Yeah.
Right. So he's there with the disc and the
Yeah.
candle, and then he takes one of his knives
Mm.
and like straight through his hand,
Good. Good
all the
pierce.
way through, like a good like
Mhm.
straight through. Pulls it out and just
Oh,
holds
like
it
you're
over
gonna
the
be hungry.
candle and lets it bleed onto the disc and holds it over the candle.
Mm-mm.
Does anything happen?
It's for the first few beats. There doesn't really seem to be any serious response. It's these rituals can be
Oh,
nebulous, and we lost a phantom.
we did
But
lose a fandom.
these rituals can be at sometimes nebulous, sometimes difficult, and often the one being made contact with is fickle at best. So for several seconds, nothing really happens. This isn't the weirdest thing in the entire world. However, there does seem to be a more significant response. There is a feeling of Phantom is back. Welcome back. Um, but there is kind of a feeling of dislocation. I don't know if you've ever had this. I've had it before, where it feels like you're falling, but you're staying still. Like when you're just sitting and you feel like suddenly you like fall backwards, but your body hasn't actually moved.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. It's that kind of sense, but more kind of cerebral. And it's not so much being pulled. It is
Vertigo.
definitely not something
Hmm.
normal. And there's also this very strong smell that comes up. And not that Squamalush is a stinky boy, but in
That
um
smells good.
it's this very odd of a few different things. Some of them unpleasant, many of them familiar, but the strongest being burnt stone, like hot burnt stone. And this dislocation, this kind of heavy vertigo, really sort of comes in. And there's sort of a shift. It's, again, had a little bit of experience with things, experience with odd visitations, weird stuff. There is elements of that, but this isn't even your dream. Instead of the field of bodies and the glaring sky, there is you're in a different kind of area. It's kind of hard to say what it is. You're on top of a pile of ruins, various broken stone and such. And you're still sort of in the sitting position, and you do still have your candle and disc in front of you. Um, but you're instead of the room and that kind of out of body-ish thing, you're on this pile of ruins that proceeds to spread out into this very dark water. And you seem to be very high up. And it spreads off into sort of this darkish, brackish water. And the sky looks stormy, though it's not really doing anything. It has that sort of boiling, rubbling, quality to it. And you're not necessarily on the highest pinnacle peak. You're on a high spot in this pile of broken ceramic and masonry and bone and just broken, ruined shit. And it's it's very sudden and very present. And a lot of the eye motifs that are maybe more understandable and a little bit more common are not here. There are a couple, but in fact, there's quite a few symbols. You recognize various religious imagery, even things like trade guilds and things like that. But none of them are complete. There is not one single glyph, not one rune mark, not one trade guild sigil anywhere on this stone that is actually complete. Every one of them is broken. And it is relatively alarming. Taking it relatively well, but this is weird. This is weird. And again, in sort of that dreamish time where you don't really have a whole, an hour, a second goes back and forth. About the same time, you kind of get a handle on what you're looking at. Um, a little ways in front of you, you could have sworn there really wasn't more shape there. There's sort of this drift of ruins, and there's a figure of a sort crouched on a piece of rubble, looking at you, presumably. It it's vaguely humanoid, in the vaguest capacity, and kind of looks golemish to an extent. It seems to be made of the broken bits. It's very large, even at the crouch. It towers over you. Um, but it doesn't appear to be overly like you don't feel a lot of fear from it, though it is relatively unsettling. It's the fact that inside and underneath the ruins, you can see there's a movement, sort of a stealthy shifting. It's hard to really quantify, snakes, insects, it's hard to tell.
Crawling
Liquid.
things.
Something is moving under there. Liquid, you don't, but there's something. Again, just suddenly get a sense that what you're seeing is a shell, and that might be good. That seeing the shell is maybe the good thing, and it just sort of crouches and looks at you, though it has no real eyes or face to tell of, but you know that it's looking at you. And before really anything can happen, again, just that sort of dream jump stuff, it speaks somewhat. If you were to make a voice out of cracking stone and crumbling ceramics, it is not a pleasant sound. You wanted me.
I want to know who you are and why you reached out to me.
You know who I am. Speak in. That just glares. It's unsettling.
Is this a new form? Are you breaking through the darkness?
No. Oh. There is only decay. You are broken. That means you can hear me.
What do you want from me?
To bring my name. You have served others. And it makes this gesture, leaning up and putting its hands up in this sort of appealing gesture, moving its stony, lumpy head. Where are they? I am
Break my old bonds, and I'll bring your name.
You understand. It is simple, and it will be done when you have need. Speak it. All will know. My name is Ruin. And there's this rending. It's this heavy feeling, and for a moment you have sympathy for the stone that is split, for a pot that's broken. Something visceral feels like it cracks. There is a terrible feeling with this, and a sudden hurtling back to yourself. You just out, spread eagle on the floor, like just having to take a moment and like, okay, that's my tongue, those are my eyes, this is my spine, just having to do the system check of making sure things are still like connected and functioning, and just shivering and having this. I don't know if you've ever had your blood sugar go really bad. That kind of gnawing internal, oh shit, I fucked up and I don't know how to fix it kind of feeling. It's just very, it just not a happy person. And again, just vaguely conscious, laying on the floor, and a sudden you fell down with licking help and just scoop. And in the
No,
corner of your vision,
Scromulus, keep your tongue to yourself.
okay.